So the main Celtic news this afternoon is the fact that Scott Brown, yes, the Broony, is returning to Celtic. He's returning to do a gig at Hydro with his sidekick, Mikael Lustig. That will be some laugh, but the prices of tickets are absolutely unbelievably high, if you ask me. Ange Postecoglou has been on the lips of a former Rangers star again. We're a week and a game after the cup final, and former Rangers star and pundit is now today on the 6th of March talking about the boss again. They just cannot stop talking about Ange Postecoglou. And then we go into the comment section as promised this morning. The majority of this video will be to the comments of yesterday's video, which was a video of Celtic fans in Alicante, the Fergus McCann Celtic Supporters Club up there in Alicante, which is a fantastic little club. And as I say, if you're in Benidorm and you're going to the airport, jump into Alicante to watch a game. If you're going to the airport the day of a game, go there first. So anyway, first of all, Scott Brown, the skipper, played his final season at Celtic behind closed doors, and to me it was a bittersweet moment because obviously I was over here in Spain at the time and I was down at Paris Point, and just when you have Scott Brown playing his last game and he's getting interviewed on the telly, Paris Point went and turned the telly over. So the less said about that, the better. That's my own personal feelings. But moving on, Scott Brown and Mikael Lustig are back in Scotland for this almost 2 years to the day that he captained the club for the last time. Brown, who's now in charge of Fleetwood Town, is making his first steps in management, is heading along to the city with former teammate Lustig for a night of celebration, and all money and proceedings will go to the Celtic FC Foundation. Scott did a lot of work with the Celtic FC Foundation when he was the captain of the club. 14 years he was at the club, you need to remember that, and the captain enjoyed a lot of silverware, so there'll be a lot of good stories that night. He never got a chance to say a final farewell. Hopefully he'll get a chance to come to Celtic Park. It is time for him to come back and say a proper goodbye. Lustig left 2 years earlier, the former Sweden international, spending 7 years at Celtic, and we'll have to say the two of them through the whole Brendan Rodgers years were just fantastic together, and Instagram at the time was just hilarious with Broony and Lustig just winding everyone up. Into more urgent matters, Alan Hutton's obsession, the Sevconians' obsession with Ange Postecoglou and everything Celtic. Alan Hutton has took to the press this afternoon to talk about the 57-year-old Celtic manager, who he said has been branded as a really likeable guy. Of course he is, what do you expect? Alan Hutton went on to say the turnaround in recruitment players he has brought in has been excellent. He's been performing at the highest level and comes across as a really genuine guy. At the cup final, Ange came out of the tunnel and walked right over to us. He stood and chatted for 10 minutes. He was answering questions. He was talking to me about my career and how he even knew me, and it says a lot for the man as a manager. He says it felt strange. Hutton said it did feel strange, but it was a touch of class that he didn't have to do. He talks a lot of sense, and it's no surprise to guys like him that he's a really likeable guy. Moving on to the comments section for the video from yesterday. So yesterday the video was obviously I went up to Alicante. It was around about a 40-minute drive from me up to Alicante to watch the game, see the Celtic Supporters Club up there. There was a few guys in on their way back to the airport, and a few guys from Greenock and a family from Greenock that we're speaking to, and they were heading home at 9 o'clock at night, so they stopped into Alicante to watch the game. So the first comment is, "We would never sell our club," says piling on the agony. That's to that. Vince Whelan says, "Love from Luton," a Luton Celtic fan. And Tim Celtic said, "That's on my bucket list." Something Today says, "They tried to cheat us, but they can't beat us. Hail, hail." That's talking about the fact that in the video we're actually talking about the VAR from yesterday. And the next one, Don says, "I never give up on the hoops." And Kevin Harkins says, "I'm in Quesada, the next time I'll call in." Quesada's not far, as you know. Brendan says, "That looks awesome. What a result today. Hail, hail, come on, you boys in green and white." And 1888 CFC said it's 5 past midnight o'clock. Another easy day at the office, says Hun Crusher. Vince says we are watching from Dublin, bring on the Huns. Timothy went on to say first half we were 7 points behind second, and then back to 9. Boo-hoo. Another good day at the office. And Paul McDuff says looks a cracking wee pub. It was a cracking little pub. I'd been there a few times. I never even knew it was a Celtic pub, to be honest, because the side that the Celtics pub was in, and it only opens up for the Celtic games. Andy Boy says it looks a bit calm. It's probably a bit calm because when you're abroad you don't jump around the same as what you do in a pub back home in Scotland. We've never sell our club. Went on to say Hearts manager Robbie Neilson is convinced his team can beat Celtic at Celtic Park midweek and in the Scottish Cup next week, but we are ready for them. That we certainly are. Green Lecce says God bless the Bunnet. He laid the foundations for what we are enjoying just now, and that's a thing that we need to remember as a club. You know, we never went bust. We paid our debts. We paid the 5 million. Fergus paid the 5 million off to the bank without even owning a share, and then even the likes of Michael Kelly got £180,000 for his shares off of Fergus McCann, which for me is quite disgusting, but that is the Kelly legacy. Paul Baird went on to say hail hail. And then Joseph Maxwell says, where is Austin's bar in Alicante? It's basically 5 minutes from the waterfront in Alicante. It's really easy to get to. I did put the location on the comments in the video. Soapy says, hail hail bro. Ian McKenzie says, Andy Walker on the St Mirren penalty is a terrible decision. Where's his arm supposed to go? Chris Boyd, Munchy Monster, said it's a penalty. I think the fact that he brings his arm down towards his body once he's touched the ball, kind of, for me, if it was going against us, I would say it was a penalty. The fact that the Kyogo one, where Kyogo gets pulled back, I mean, that's a blatant penalty all day long. But anyway, and Michael says Andy Walker also agreed it wasn't a free kick. Great performance from a bad first half. Hail hail. And then jumping down to a few other ones, Michael then Donny Boy says Boyd makes it tough for him, either being mince or thick, being a comedy genius and giving us all laughing comments. I think Boy just opens his mouth and just cracks on, a bit like me sometimes on this channel, but who cares? On that note, that's the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed this one. Let's get this one 150 thumbs up, and I shall see you in the next video tomorrow morning.